Hi everyone, my name is Arman, and today I'm going to explain you a little code which is simply a to-do list made with the help of HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Jquery and Node.js. Before proceeding to this tutorial, I strongly recommend you to learn basics of HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Jquery and Node.js, and also understand how the web is working. For all this, you can see the lectures. They are put in the description, and those lectures will help you to understand all the mentioned things really well. So let me first of all demonstrate you how this works. The information is stored inside the server. Here we see the server file. Here it is. And the information is stored inside this array. And also we can see here that all the libraries that we require from Node.js, those are HTTP, URL, FS, and query string. And now I'll demonstrate how it's working by just, oh, okay, my server is running. And now if I go to localhost 3002, this is the port that I'm listening to, and index.html. Here it is the list. The list is just simply have some functions, like I can add something, like upload this to YouTube. Okay, now it's adding to this. When I push this button, click on this button, it's simply searching. If I search for wake, here it is, the wake. I can check the things that I've finished and uncheck them, and they are going to be stored on this server. So if I refresh this, the check button is going to stay here, and I can simply delete some elements from the list. In order to understand this code, let me start from the server side. So here it is, the sublime. In the server, I have the list. Here it is inside the array. Then after that, I have this server stored inside another array, which takes requests and responses. Then I have the parsed URL and parsed query, which are taking the information from the query string. That the query string is like something when you go to the Google and search for some stuff. You can see here it is, the some stuff which is coming with query. It's the part of the URL, and you can take it as an object. So this is for that one, and I also stored the rect method inside another variable in order to use it, because I'm going to use this pretty frequently. So first of all, when someone is going to this URL, like index.html, it's getting concatenated with public, because all my files, as you can see, are stored here inside this public. And it's taking function error on data, and if something went wrong, like you just send status code 404, and if anything is okay, you send that anything is okay, and also you return the client data. The handlers. Here I said that if I get a request and the request contains a to-do, and here we see the methods starting. Like we have a method get. If we have a get method, we are going to give the list to the server with the help of JSON. So here we set the local list, and the local list is just simply this list here, just inside this scope. And if we have a parsed query, if we have something like search request, and it's inside the URL, if we have that all, in that case, we just take the local list and filter it, and the filter has a function inside it, and the function returns all the elements of the array which contain the search list with the head of this little function index of. On the other hand, we just return the list by stringifying it. We use JSON for communicating, like we say JSON stringify to the server, or from the server to the client, and then parse it in order to get a JavaScript object. So if the method is post and the user is sending something to add to the list, we are collecting the chunks, which are small parts of the data. The data is coming with the help of chunks, like it's dividing it into separate parts, small parts, and we then collect that parsed together. And here it is. I have a variable here, and then on data. So each time I get a data, this event happens. I just add the chunk to the data. Pretty simple. So, and when all this ends, we just have another function, parsed add. We just parse the data that we get, and then we add an ID to it. Oh yes, and our list consists of IDs, messages, which are basically those written text, and checked, which are responsible for this checkbox. So, where we are. So, okay, on post. And then we push this object to array. Just it's adding the the push. It's just adding the object to the end of the array. And then we return the new list to the server. Then to the client. And client is returning this out. If the method is delete, we again collect the data with the help of chunk, the same function, and on the end we just get the ID of the certain item that we want to delete, and here starts a for loop, which is checking like if the ID that the client sent matches to the ID of some of the any of the elements that are stored in our data. If those IDs are matching, then we are deleting that item by using the splice. Splice is just a function that is taking the index that we mentioned with the help of the first argument and deleting the like 2 or 3 items starting by that argument, and how many items to delete we are showing in the second argument of the splice. So with this method, it's just deleting it. And then we again send the new updated list to this server client, and client is rendering it. The last method is put. So put is made for updating list when the checkbox is checked. So again, we collect chunks, data with the help of chunks, and then again we do with the help of ID. We know whether what ID matches, and this time we are just checking the checked to true or false, and it's depending on what the client sent to us. And again, we just return the information to the client. Okay, some problems here. I just zoomed it out. And now let's see the client side. This is CSS. You don't really need to do that. Index.html and here is main.js. Okay, here I have a server list. So this is I just selected the UL, which is inside the index.html. Here it is. Inside the index.html, I just have 2 input tabs with type of text for typing the text, 2 buttons, and an unordered list. Also, I have included Jquery and main.js attached to this file, and then CSS. Don't forget to plug Jquery first, then the main.css or main.js or your main JavaScript file, because it needs to have the Jquery library in order to make your JavaScript file work. So here I have a simple function clear list, which is just setting the inner HTML of unordered list to empty string, and you get it. It's just deleting the unordered list. Here we have a main function, which we call each time we receive data from the server. And this function is going to receive a data from the server, which is an object. And this means for each element of the object, we are doing some function. And this function is taking here the item ID contains the ID of all the elements. And we have a form here stored inside the variable li. And it is just adding a message inside the li, adding a button with the ID that we get from the server, and also it's adding the event that if it's clicked, called this delete item function, which we will look at later. Give it a class for CSS. I did some CSS here, and another checkbox with the same ID. Okay. Then for checkbox to work, check button, we are just this li.find is just taking this input out of this form, which is separating and storing it inside this variable. Then we are adding checked, where prop is just adding this attribute to a tag. And if it is true, if items.checked is true, we are checking each element. If this element's checked is true, we are going to put this checked in order to make that element inside our rendered list to be checked. So on change, if it is changing, like someone clicked on it and changed from false to true or from true to false, we are checking like here we get the state. If it is checked, we set it to true. If it is not checked, we set it to false. And then we update li. This is a function that's updating the list whether each time when the checkbox is changed. And we are giving the arguments to this function, the ID of the checkbox, and we are giving also, yes, the state of the checkbox. Then it's sending to server is updating and giving us back the information. Then we render it on screen. And here we append all these LIs. Each time for each element, we append all the elements, all the objects to our unordered list in this form. So simply we just put some LIs inside the ULs inside in the HTML, and we get that list rendered. And here we have all these functions like which can, like, for getting adding items, or for get list is the function that we call first when the page is loading, because we want to get the information that is on server. Get list is just sending an AJAX request with TODO URL, get type, and with using JSON. It's just sending no data, but when it's success, it's just calling the make list that we just discussed. And it's rendering. If it's not, it's alerting that something went wrong. Add item is doing the same thing. It's just putting the value of the saved txt, which is this here. If you put something here, this something is the value. Here it is. We store this value inside this item txt, and again we are making an AJAX request with TODO URL with type post and JSON, and then we stringify this and send it as an object, as an value of object element, like message. Here it has the value stored inside item txt, which is the something that server wants to the client wants to add. And here, when it's success, we just clear the lists and make lists again with this data that we get. The same, all the same things are done here for all the delete buttons, update button, update functions. Everything is the same. There is no need to discuss them all. And also here you need to make an event for these two buttons, like add button and search button. And for these two, you are going to say like on click, like call add item function, and for this one, search item function, and everything is going to be okay. These other things that you see here are just extra things that I added. They don't really matter so much. So this is all. You can study this code further. You can go to my Git, download it. I've uploaded in my Git. You can see the link is in the description. And by downloading it, you can do anything you want with this list. You can try some manipulations or understand it better. Everything is commented there also. You can see what function is made for what. And also, if you like my video and you want more like code understanding, just like and subscribe and wait for some more information. Thank you.